again, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. My name is Mars, and today we're going to do the complete guide for Sephiroth, which, fortunately, he's a pretty straightforward unit, so there's a lot of stuff that we can do the Cliff Notes version of. So, I'm super in love with Sephiroth, which is probably evident by the number of Sephiroth that I've pulled. When his banner came around, I did, I think, 2 laps on the step up, wound up with 3 of him, and then have since off-bannered 6 more. So the game knows that I like Sephiroth and has definitely provided for me abundantly. So, quick recap on him as a unit. He is the Swiss Army machine gun, the Swiss Army ultimate weapon of some kind. All right, he's the Swiss Army chains with everybody weapon of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. He chains with so many people with his previous abilities that he had, which is awesome. And then at 7 stars, they added even more. So at 7 stars, one of the big changes is that they gave him Consuming Light and Descent into Darkness, which imbue light or dark onto him for 3 turns, and it chains with the Quick Hit family. So if you're a fan of Quick Hit chainers, then this is going to be the move for you. I personally don't care for it because I get really frustrated with the broken chains all the time, because I don't really want to fuss about with like macroing, or I don't want to fuss about with like an app or anything to try and do it. Either magnification gestures should work to make it chain or nothing. So for me, I'm not going to be using this a lot except for the imbue opportunity. But for those who use quick hit chainers, this is really, really nice to have. Additionally, they added a cooldown skill called Tragic End, which is an AoE finishing move with a 17 times modifier. It's pretty strong, and it also has a chance to KO all enemies. So, pretty solid skill in terms of finishing. Definitely not the best AoE finishing move, but it's there in case you need it. Now, his move that I am most excited about is Supremacy, and this is very similar to Sora's corresponding skill. It is an AT chaining skill that ramps up in damage after each use. So it begins at a 7 times modifier, which is pretty par for the course, and then it ramps up to a 13 times modifier, which is pretty big. That is the equivalent modifier to CG Laswell's unlocked AT chaining ability. So very, very good. It ramps up pretty quickly with dual wield, and it'll ramp up faster when we have triple cast with True Double Hand, which we'll talk about that later. And yeah, overall, this is going to be the skill that you're going to use the most, especially because we have more AT chaining people now. I've been using Laswell a lot because I love him. A2 also is a part of the family, and Sora is the next most recent member of the family who's super, super popular. There's also Machina and more to come, and probably someone else that I forgot because I have a tendency to do that. So that's the great thing right there. As far as passives are concerned, all you really need to know is that they gave him a little bit of True Double Hand, a little bit of True Dual Wield, and some Katana passives for having his Katana equipped. So that's basically the long and short of it. It makes it so that you can build him either way, but you will notice that at 7 stars he does not have multicast, and he does not have dual wield, which means that you have to make a choice. Do you want to go True Double Hand and just single cast all of his abilities? Or do you want to do True Dual Wield and multicast his abilities, but at the cost of not having as high of attack or not benefiting from damage variance? At this stage in the game, you're going to want to focus on Dual Wield, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. His STMR is amazing. It gives 80% attack, 20% defense, magic, and spirit when equipped with a katana. This is a big deal for him and for Axstar as well, who's going to come along later, as well as other katana users who will be coming down the line. I believe Citan is part of the Xenogears collaboration, and he uses a katana. Ultimately, anybody who uses a katana, whether they're double-handing or dual-wielding, this is going to be a best-in-slot item for them for a very long time to come. So if you have 4 Sephiroths, don't use 2 7 stars. Get that STMR. It is that good. It is very worth using. Highly, highly recommended. Now, his 7-star limit burst didn't undergo any dramatic changes. When you do get it to level 30, it does do more damage, and it is a pretty serviceable finishing move, and it imperils Light Dark by 100%, but the added bonus is that it lasts for 5 turns instead of just for 3. I don't know if the additional turn count benefit comes at level 1, level 25, level 30. All it says is that the 7-star limit burst at base value gives you 3 turns of Imperil, and the maxed out LB gives you 5 turns. So at some point in there, it'll swap over and start giving you 4 turns and then 5 turns, or maybe it jumps all the way to 5 turns. Honestly, I don't know. If there is someone who knows, let me know in the comments below. I'll pin you if you actually know the answer to that, because that's one that even I have no idea on. So, yeah, overall, super awesome unit. As far as how I would personally use him, there's a few strategies for building up his rotation. Right now, I wouldn't concern myself too much with the imbuing skills. So this Consuming Light, Descent into Darkness, and also Reunion is an imbuing skill. I wouldn't mess with those so much because you're going to want to use him as a true dual wield unit for now. When he becomes a when he gets his enhancements, which should be around April-ish when Axstar comes along, he will have the ability to triple cast. And you know, there's a whole system and stipulations and stuff behind that, and you know, we'll get way more into that when that date actually rolls around. But just know that for the time being, he's gonna be your true dual wield guy. I don't know why Ignis is here other than to just look handsome, which he does a killer job of. Oh, that's so much damage. Love it. But the advantage of dual wielding right now is that Supremacy builds up much faster than if you were to do double hand, like with his katana or otherwise. So yeah, there's really no reason not to do true dual wield, with the exception of if you wanted to use him as an LB finisher, in which case you would definitely want to use just use his katana and then imbue and use that as your finishing skill. Otherwise, I wonder if this can actually kill him. Oh, there we go. Easy mode. Yeah, and keep in mind that this boss is heavily resistant to physical damage, so the fact that he can just 2-turn it like that, it's pretty disgusting. Supremacy is the skill. I'm going to be using that skill like crazy. I'm in love with it. So, talking a little bit more to his 7-star form in the future, yes, right now you want to do dual wield, give him an elemental weapon, give him his katana, and go to town. He's going to do great things for you. He can chain with a ton of people, and then we'll look a little bit at how some of those builds look right here. So, we're going to start with the poor man's build. There's a lot of options for poor man building Sephiroth in his current form. This is probably one of the poorest man builds that you can do, and it still comes out to a respectable amount of attack at almost 1800, and that's with very modest item world rolls. It's just the rare ones. You can roll quite a bit higher than that, and then it's all 4-star TMRs or like trial rewards. So very, very doable. It follows that principle of equip an elemental weapon, equip his katana, go to town. You can also use a great sword, or you can use any of the weapons that he can equip, which if I recall correctly are quite a few. Swords, great swords, katanas, and fists. Do keep in mind that he does not innately have dual wield, which means that you have to equip it to him somehow. Awesome Swordsman is going to be your best choice for this, which is Lauren's TMR. Second best choice will, it's hard to say, it's going to depend on if you have any of Aloha Laswell's TMR that you can use in the accessory slot. If you do, then Genji Glove might not be the best, but it is another good option. Otherwise, dual wield works just fine. So yeah, this is probably your poor man's build for now. If you're someone who's been playing for a long time, or you have super Omega Whale build opportunities, this is what it's going to look like. He can hit over 2400 attack, and this again is with some pretty conservative item world rolls. Very, very, very strong builds. I really love this. This is Sora's STMR, so that one is pretty new, so there may be a fair number of people who have it, given how popular that banner was. But yeah, otherwise, build him out with that true dual wield, give him those elemental weapons, match him to his partner. Like if you're going to be chaining with Sora, lots of Soras out there have fire weapons, or lots of Soras have thunder weapons, so that they can chain with other people. Match your partner. There are great swords for most of the elements you're going to need for. Alternatively, you can use Lila's Fist, which many Sephiroth owners may also have if they pulled on the Seph Lila banner when that came around. Point is, there's tons of options out there. Sephiroth is extremely flexible and he's awesome. If you do want to build him as a finisher using his Limit Burst, that's where you would dump that guy and then just equip his katana, and you can throw on, let's go with some martial gloves, because those are good. We're not going to do any limited time STMRs because I hate those, except for Sora's, because I'm willing to bet there's actually a fair number of people who have it. What the heck? Oh, I clicked on the hat. I'm smart. Martial glove. Martial glove. Martial glove. Got it. All right, and then we can get rid of Awesome Swordsman, which is nice. We can trade that for, let's see, let's do Dark Knight Cecil's STMR. Sounds better. Dark Sword Arts, there we are. This is nice. Heart's Light, let's see, we can trade this. Actually, he may not be at the attack cap. Let's try, actually, never mind. Let's do Squall's STMR, because that's actually what's going to be best in slot if you're doing him for limit burst damage. And then I think the other way to get a little more attack is if we trade in the Subservient. There we go. And wham. Oh my goodness, we're not even capped on attack. Am I missing something? 80%, 80%. Dark Sword Arts is 100% true double hand with 30% attack. Holy cow. Yeah, his attack stat goes really high. So if you're looking for someone with for the parameter missions when those come out, he'll be a great candidate. Let's see what happens when, well, great candidate if you have STMRs. Maybe, never mind. I don't know how budgeted it is to get him at high true double hand. Let's do Nalu's to see if that actually helps much, because I can't remember. I could have looked and seen that he was at the cap because I'm a dingus. Okay. Let's just do Vincent's. Vincent. Past Regerts. Okay. There you have it. 2756. That's not the highest you're going to be able to get, but it's pretty far up there. So this is going to be good for double hand finishing using his Limit Burst. That's basically what I would use this build for the time being. In the future, when he has his enhancements and he has unlockable triple cast, this build or builds like this are going to be much, much better. And builds using Axstar's STMR are going to start popping up, and you'll find that Axstar's STMR is the only one that I'm going to actually pull for in the game, because it is that good for Sephiroth. It is that good for Axstar. It's convenient because with Axstar, you're pulling for a great unit, and then the STMR unlocks the highest potential for that great unit. It's not like Cloud's STMR, which is good for Hyo or other true double hand greatsword users, but you would have to pull 4 Clouds to get that. So, in my opinion, Axstar's STMR is going to be the one worth chasing because he himself is worth chasing. So, and then you'd want to use that STMR on Sephiroth if you were using Sephiroth. So, that about covers it for builds. Let's talk a little bit about the worth it factor with Sephiroth, because I know a lot of people are saying things about oh, his damage isn't very good right now. It's well, no, it's not as good as it will be when he gets his enhancements, that's for sure. But it is very good damage. It's up there with CG Laswell, which he is, I think, about 10 or 15% stronger than Hyo, last I had heard. So, to have Sephiroth be up in that same sort of range with a similar rotation, the ability to open up even more elemental options for AT chainers. I mean, he's a really awesome unit, and if you have a 7-star Sephiroth available, you may as well start investing in him now, because down the road he's only going to get better, because those enhancements really put him on the map. They unlock a lot of potential for him. These Amelias are annoying. If you could stop, that would be great. Or just keep hitting Awakened Rain, or Demon Rain. Keep hitting Demon Rain. I'm fine with that. Because he will slap you back. He's going to make you regret using Rapid Fire. Yeah, how do you feel about Rapid Fire now? How do you feel? Stop hitting yourself. Goodness. So yeah, as far as the worth it factor goes, Sephiroth definitely has it. his enhancements down the line are going to be super important, so keep that in mind as you're enhancing other units. You're allowed to go as crazy as you want with enhancing your own units, but I would recommend keeping some in reserve so that you can enhance him around April. Because that's in the Japanese version of the game. Axstar came out and Sephiroth's enhancements came with it, so keep an eye out for that, and that's about when we should expect Sephiroth's enhancements. So yeah, I think he's awesome. What do you guys think? That concludes our complete guide for Sephiroth. Let me know what you think of Sephiroth. If you enjoyed using him, do you look forward to using him? Do you wish you could use him? Let me know, and let me know who you would like to see in the next complete guide, and I will see everybody in the next video.